What's up, guys?
What's
How are
up?
you doing?
All awesome,
good.
man. How are you?
All good, man. Live from Germany, right?
Ja, out van Duitsland.
Yeah. Where are you guys based now?
This is Mannheim in Germany, which is a little bit south of Frankfurt. Most people know the airport there, and Frank and Heidelberg. So he lives in Heidelberg. Julius lives there. So we, have a little bit of drive, but we have this nice building where we have our studio, and there's a lot of creative people in here in this building. So that's nice.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So you have like a separate studio space aside from your living.
Exactly.
And for how long did you have that?
We started, I think, in this room. We started in January 2016. So we've been here for quite a while. And before that, we still were able to use the studio of the university because where we met at Music University. So we had a studio room there. You always had to sign in, to
rent it.
And we were like, okay, Monday to Friday, all day. So it was good at some point to get our own space,
Yeah, I can imagine. And which music university was that? Which school?
Called Pop Academy. I think in Holland you have something called the Rock Academy.
Yeah, that's where I went. Yeah.
Yeah, in Tilburg. Yeah, and we are. Yeah, the equivalent is in Mannheim, Germany. So actually, a couple of blocks down from here.
Okay. Did you guys finish it?
Yes, we finished both bachelor's and master's degree.
And actually, I've been to Tilburg for 1 semester. So
oh, really?
At Fonte's Rock Academy for 6 months, back in 2005. So that's
together with the Headhunters, I think.
Yes. It was we're in the same production class.
That was the first. I think he was the first year of the dance producer education part there.
Oh, right.
Together with Hartwell, as well.
But I didn't meet Robert. I just know that. Yeah.
Could be later. I think Robert was later. One or 2 years.
It was 2005 from October to when February or something like that. And I really fell in love with the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Because I only knew it from back, soccer rivalry. So obviously, like really back then, there was huge fights between the German and the Dutch team. Yeah. And then I was there, and I was so I liked it so much. People were so laid back, and it was actually the first time in my life that somebody would let me skip the queue, in the supermarket because I had less stuff.
Oh, really?
So that was the first time in Tilburg I ever witnessed that. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really was the first time. Made a big impression to you.
Yeah. Good time.
Yeah. But you guys finished music school, both of you. And when did your career started happening? Because you already mentioned you met on school. Was that also the moment when you started making music together?
We didn't meet on campus. Actually, we met in a bar, which is the outgoing street next to it. So so we all the students. We every week we're there like five nights a week, drinking in student life, in these bars and. Yeah. And a friend of mine said, it's Julius guy. He's in a different semester, but you guys should meet up. Why haven't you met up? And he lives 20 minutes from here, and so tell him to come. And so on the night he was out, and we had a beer together. We were talking for I think many hours, 4 hours about the dance business, and we did the same labels, some of them, and then a lot of stuff on spinning already for you. And I want to be on spinning as well. And I was on Ministry of Sound. I did some remixes. He did many remixes as well. So we just exchanged so much knowledge and we knew the similar people as well already. So we just lived 20 minutes apart. We was okay, we have to make a record. And on the next day, we started the collaboration.
Yeah.
Right. So that was Toxic Rush, our first record on Fede Legrand's label.
Yeah.
That was the first half year. It took a while for it to be released, but that was the kickoff, I would say. First track we made.
And were you guys first active as Jewelz?
Yeah.
And Scott Sparks?
And Scott Sparks. Yes.
Okay. Actually, I'm a bit older, so I'm 7 years older than Greg. So I had kind of a career before our career.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, for me, like I started the bachelor back in 2003, and I was finished 2006, and then there was no master degree to get on that college back then because everything was so new. So I started working back then and playing so many resident clubs in Germany and like so many DJ gigs, also played with bands and stuff and had my first releases. I remixed Nicky Romero's My Friend back in the day. Like that was his breakthrough record kind of and stuff like that, you know, but it never really took off. So when we did the track together, the Toxic Rush thing, it was not the first track we ever did, you know, but it was the first track we did together and
it was so much bigger than all of our previous records because every DJ picked it up. That was the main thing. Like every of one of the big guys like you know, David and I mean Fede signed it. Fede played the record in literally every set from then for the next years.
That was so important. It helped us a lot. Because if it was just released on Flamingo, okay, but if the head of the label, like Fede, if he plays it everywhere, that was big help back then.
And what was the main thing what do you think was the success of combining your sounds? Like you mentioned, you were already releasing songs separately. So now you guys collaborated and suddenly something happened which even went harder, you know? Like what's the value there? Is it that one has a different skill set than the other, or?
I mean, in this specific case, I mean, we also did Flashbang, which was the follow-up, which was equally big. And then those two records kind of took it away for us with also bookings and stuff after that. But those records are a little bit more stripped down, I think, to the core essence. And we felt we needed to do that because at the time, it was 2012. So Swedish House Mafia and Avicii were just so big, and a lot of people were making this progressive melodic sound.
Yeah.
We wanted to do anti-drops. So we wanted to tone it down again. And at the time, it was just very refreshing because the DJ sets were full of these progressive anthems.
Yeah.
And then there was our record in between, Always, or like Flashbang. It's like just percussive stuff. And then also Robert played it a lot because he had these trancey things with, you know, Tiesto's 076, these records. And then in between, there was always like one of our records in all the DJ sets, and it was like a showstopper always. Yeah. And we thought of it that way. That's like just something that's equally big, but still more minimal. So
it's really something that you guys thought about. It's not something that necessarily just not ceased to exist, but popped out of nowhere. You literally thought about it like, how can we create something that pops out?
Yeah, the thing is, it was kind of a thinking process, because when we started out, we were like, okay, let's do a track. And then, okay, let's make a big festival thing, you know, just let's do it. Then, okay, what should we do? Like, which chords should we use? We want big hands up in the air, stuff like that. And we tried a lot of ideas. And then we were taking a break on the balcony there's a little balcony at the cafeteria of the university. And we were thinking like, okay, so hands up, yeah, okay.
Everybody does it.
If we just like leave everything, like we had the drop pretty fast, like a simple drop, and then we thought, okay, let's not make a big anthem in the break, just make it kind of a tool, just make it really simple, the essence, we call it, of dance music, like bass, fat sounds, kick drum,
rhythm.
It's just one note, the bass, right? So and
like,
right, because we are kind of musically trained, you know, we know how harmonies work and stuff. And but we just left it out, and we were super happy that it was picked up by Fede.
Yeah. Also, Blog supported it. You know, Dancing Astronaut was very big at that time.
Yeah, really big.
These kind of EDM blogs. It wasn't even called EDM at the time. Like, it came 2-3 years later that the term EDM music. Like,
it was just called blogs, right?
Yeah, blogs for dance music.
Yeah, dance music blogs.
Dance music blogs.
DMB, bro.
So we kicked out all the trancey lead synths and all the bass and chords and the thing, and then we thought, okay, the rising element, which is like this uplifting stuff, it sounds so nice on its own. We just leave it,
Yeah.
and then let the DJs handle that. Just they have to do something with it, and it worked nicely. So
you know what I always liked about your songs is that because they were so minimalistic, you could perfectly use them for bootlegs.
Right.
Because you can easily put like a vocal on top of it or whatever. That I really like the sound of it, like the minimalistic sound of it, and then it was easy to combine it with other songs.
I think there was one mashup with the double drop from Knife Party. They mashed up one of our songs. I can't remember which it was, but it was 2 drops at the same time because we obviously had enough space to put another drop on it. Yeah.
Exactly. I can imagine. So, where did you took it from there? Because you both have been making music for years. Suddenly, you start to make a song together. That song starts to pop. It gets signed by Fatty. Gets supported by a lot of guys. Where do you guys took it from there? Because you obviously, need to take a different step from there.
It was big trial and error from then because we had no master plan. Kind of, if today we think, okay, if we had that situation again with all the knowledge we gathered throughout the years, we could have done it more systematically or stuff like that. But it was kind of trial and error. And I remember that a booking agency from Germany, which is quite famous, they sent me an email because my former manager, before we met, already told them about me, but they were not interested so much. And then they saw the song, and then they were reaching out again. So, okay, we saw that song. What's up? And then we went there, and they signed us. And then, that was the start of international touring, basically.
So the booking agency was the key in that whole story.
The booking agency, enabled us to. I mean, the first shows were already outside of Germany, so it's just Belgium, Czech Republic, and we were like in Eastern Europe, Poland. We were in all these other but very quickly also Asia and Singapore, like all these places, and like within the first 5 shows that we ever played internationally was like Zouk, Singapore, like ridiculous clubs, and like worldwide top 30 DJ Mag clubs or something. Yeah. And it was like, okay, this is way other level than all the stuff we did ever before. So we tried to, keep it going and approach also bigger labels. I mean, Flamingo wasn't the biggest label at that time, but Fatty was quite big and he supported our sound. But we also tried to again approach Spin-In, I mean, Revealed was also just starting out. I mean, Danik and Dairo and Robert, they were doing a lot of closed things like for themselves, It wasn't like an open platform Revealed like nowadays. It was just like small label for these kind of couple of guys. So we tried to approach Spin-In. They didn't like all of our tracks, to be fair. We tried some experiments. So we get turned down as well. You don't see that because you don't see the records that are being turned down by the DJs, right?
How many percent got turned down, like by the guess of it?
It's like I think for example, we had a record called NYMSN, New York Make Some Noise. We released it on CR2 Records, but that in the end that wasn't our first choice. It turned out to be cool, but it wasn't who we approached first. So that gets turned down, and then you go further down the line. Like, what's your second preference of label? What's your third preference? Stuff like that. I mean, now we can be honest about it. We didn't approach these guys in the first. But it turned out to be a nice collaboration too. So we were on CR2. There's many other labels that we went to. I mean, even Dimmak.
But actually, when we had that the moment going with our first tracks, it was quite easy to sign the tracks. Maybe not always to the favorite label, but there was so much interest in that time. And then during the evolvement of the career, it started that it gets more pickier. And of course, everything was blowing up because nowadays there are even way more producers than there like when we started out together. And so if tracks get turned down, I think the most important thing is that you don't turn against it completely yourself, against your own track, because I think now when we do club brackets, what we finish is signed, I think 100%. But to get to the 100% finished, it's a lot of discussion between the two of us, of course, and it's a lot of discussion between the music and yourself for each of us. So when it's finished, we get it signed. But to get it finished, sometimes it takes some time. So yeah, and that's completely different when vocals are involved, or if you're trying to do pop music, because then everything it's a whole different
more
game.
complicated.
It's not for beginners, but now obviously we just send it to Tiesto himself, and then he will comment, and then we can change some stuff, you know, and you know, maybe he's right, we should like do it like this, and then he signs it, or you know, something like that.
Exactly.
We have just now the 2 more things on musical freedom, and we just in email contact about these records. So like it goes on a very personal level now, but that's not when you start. You just want to approach, and you have to guess what is it they're looking for, like these labels. And also that constantly changes, right? So if you think, okay, so Revealed or Spinning, they stand for a certain sound, and my record maybe is not perfectly right, and it's not there. You have no idea. Maybe last week they changed their approach. And they want to do something. Like labels also want to evolve, right?
That was one of the things that really frustrated me always, because then you had this song, I felt like, okay, this is the perfect Spinning release or the perfect Revealed release, and you were just already 200% convinced that it was going to get signed, and then you send it out and you get a no back. You're like, what the fuck? It's like, how is that possible? But yeah, like you mentioned, you're not in control, you know, like maybe they've switched genre or policy or whatever. You never know.
And sometimes what also happened to us, if you get turned down, if a song of yours gets turned down and you release it for free, maybe they will sign it afterwards. That happened.
Get licensed, Did it happen to you,
Yeah, it happened too. And so that's also like, it's not the end of the world. A no. You can try to turn it to a yes, but maybe you see, okay, it's not working. Maybe it's not working at the moment, but it will work later. And also with the collaborations we did, it's so crazy, because what we thought is, okay, we have to offer the guys tracks that are their style. So if we approach Hardwell and those people, we have to give them something that's their style. You have no idea, man. We had a folder with music, and it was always the option we thought it would be the last option.
The least.
That got the collaboration, like with Hardwell, the Safari thing, the drop we had and the track we had. We thought this is not Hardwell style, but we'll send it anyway. And he picked this one of a lot of tracks. The same with Laidback Luke. We Are One. It's like a poppy vocal on it and stuff. And we thought, okay, send this to Laidback Luke. I don't know. So we just did. We sent everything they could choose, and Laidback Luke also chose the one we would not think of.
That's the thing, you know. You're so into the details of your own songs that it's really hard to see the bigger picture. And then you send it to someone else who listens to those songs for the very first time, and it's just a different way of listening to music, I guess.
Yeah, and you think you are super smart and why or whatever, but you aren't. You can't be another person.
No,
you don't know the person. You have no idea what the person is or not. So just I mean, I think it's a good way if somebody can choose from something, you know, but you have no idea what they are really up to or what their ideas of their future or stuff like that. So
yeah, true.
Maybe also another tip, just because I'll forget otherwise. The way to listen to your own production is completely different if somebody else is with you in the room for the first time, and they will hear it for the first time. Even if you heard it 200 times, you will hear it with different ears if someone else is in the room to listen with you, and there for the first time. So it's weird, but I don't know, when my friend or another, not him, but like someone else will join and we play something out, all of a sudden you just realize, oh fuck, there's a detail I should totally change, you know.
I don't know if that is for everybody, but for us it's crazy. Like another person maybe who has nothing to do with dance music, if the person sits there and listens to our song, I hear the song with their ears. For you
so you just hire people to come into the studio every now and then, and you know, that's about it. Just sit.
We hire girls to come.
No. And just to sit, and because you can listen to music differently then.
Oh, be careful with the feedback from your own family. I remember my mom saying sometimes, "Oh, that sounds like diarrhea." No, what?
Diarrhea. Oh shit.
Sense of humor. So.
Yeah. And you mentioned in the beginning, like, if you look back at what you guys have been doing in the last couple of years, if you could do it all over again with the knowledge that you have right now, you would probably change some things. What are some of those things that you would change?
Big word here, patience. Still, because I think like what we did is we wanted deals. Mm-hmm. We wanted tracks to be released like right away, and I think if there would have been like, okay, 10 tracks now in that style, for example, that we had, and you could do a plan with them, maybe take one label and get really close with them or stuff like that, you know, like plan it more. Because still, till today, it's not so easy to schedule your releases not to have big gaps. You know, sometimes you have 2 releases in a month, within a month, and then 3 months there's nothing or something like that. Yeah. And to plan that, of course, that's like a management task and stuff like that. But it's really not so easy, and I think stuff like that, because we wanted more reward, you know, like, okay, next track, we need a deal right now. We need the deal right now, you know. So yeah. That's something maybe with a little more patience could have been like different, but we didn't know better. So we are happy, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Because we're living of the music.
Yeah, and at that time, that was the biggest achievement, of course.
Yeah.
I think also when you're young, you should at least try to set everything up in-house. And I mean, you take your friends and your close surroundings into your circle to build something, instead of approaching big companies that promise you they will make you into a I mean, that can work. But we had to figure this out for ourselves, that we actually, it's not our style. Like, we do everything as close as we can. Like, our manager is a little bit younger than us even, and he's like, you know, from our high school as well. He was there at one point. And we just tried to do things on a more personal level, because it makes you work with people in a very different way than if you're part of a big management company, booking company, just big conglomerates that are like managing a lot of artists, and you're just one little wheel it's not as satisfying in the end, we find.
Yeah. But still, even being a little wheel in the beginning can be way more than you have without, you know, like if you have a partner, a strong partner, and you are just a tiny wheel, it still can be turned from time to time, the little wheel, and maybe it can be turned even more than if you are on your own. So but
you have to figure it out for yourself, though. Like, you have to learn what is your style of doing things, but you will, along the way, I mean, it's a necessary process, but you will figure out what is your style.
Yeah, I think that's really hard to think about in the beginning, you know, because as you mentioned, you're just figuring it out in the beginning. You have no idea. You're just making music that might sound great and maybe fits a label and might get sound and maybe get supported. You never know. But you're just in it for the music, right? That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And then the ball starts rolling. You get signed, you get supported, you start reaching a big audience, you start get some bookings, and more opportunities start to open up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it really takes a while. So in between our first production session and our first booking together was 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Because the record, to release the record, took 8 months after it was finished. So it was published 8 months later. And then all of a sudden it was played out for another 4 months. And then only we signed up with the booking agency. That's like 1.5 years in. And then we had our first show, I think about 1.5 years later, before we first were in the studio even together. Yeah. And we already produced for 5 or 10 years each, right? So before that.
Yeah, it's a long way.
It's a long way, yeah. It doesn't happen automatically.
No.
Yeah.
No. And then at that moment, everything started to grow, you know. You started to play a lot outside of Germany, released a lot of big tracks with big names, and then Corona hits in.
But that's I mean, we played for 7 years together though.
Mm-hmm.
This was 7 years, and now this last year, I mean, it already slowed down because our main market was actually China to play in.
Yeah.
So we were a lot in Asia and China, also because of our agency we work with at the moment. And that already slowed down until the end of 2019. And then we figured out, oh, they have a problem with this disease, right? So there's not a lot. It's like it became clear. So we were actually very early to know these kind of problems. And then only 2 months later in Europe, it was in the media and stuff. So we were already like, okay, so we were the first to be affected by this and the hardest to be affected by this. So we have to completely rethink a lot of things now.
How are you dealing with it? As in, I got artists from different kinds of levels, also top levels, and what I see happening with the bigger artists is that everyone has a really different approach. Like some artists go completely into stress mode. Other artists see this as some sort of holiday, and they just start to chill and take some time off, spend some time with friends and family. So how are you dealing with the situation?
I think like it also depends how you live your touring life, because there's people who get kind of addicted to it. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine that it's super hard for them not to step in the plane for 3 months or maybe even longer. Who knows how long that is going to take. For us, or for me now, I was kind of going with the flow, because I'm still thinking like maybe we'll never tour again like we did. Maybe. But still, I'm not stressed out so much, because I think there's always ways, like something will happen. In Germany, they start these car raves now. Maybe you've seen them.
Yeah.
It's strange to see it, but like things are happening all the time. So there will be new things. If the old things will go away, no idea. And I'm living on a farm kind of now with my girlfriend. So that's just a total different level of life. It's about horses, cats, dogs, and
nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So and I think as long as we still have some money left, that's okay. But of course, the stress gets bigger, because like a lot of people who do parties, who do events, they really struggle, because there were people who had really big problems after just 1 month, because the costs are so high for them.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, first of all, like there's several aspects. It's the psychological level and the financial. I mean, the life situation. So I think the psychological, what you mentioned was the interesting thing is like, how do you approach touring life? Like even as a bigger artist, I think like when you look for, like you can also influence that a bit. You can keep constant touring and like switch your entire life to just touring life, and basically when you're at home or in an apartment, it's just a layover and until you go again.
Yeah.
Right. So you never arrive anywhere. It's like you elevate touring life to your main happening that's always going, and you seek all gratification in it. And when that stops, you have no private base, no private life, no private thing left. And I think that's very, I mean, it's potentially dangerous, because now you can see it can stop at some, and then you're left with no private things, like,
Is that something you see happening with artists around you, for example?
I'm not so much actually, but we have it's not like Holland here. Everything is a bit, different.
Wider.
People, we are not like a little family, and the next guy who does the same as we do is living just around the corner. That's not happening here. Like all the guys are quite far away, so you don't have a constant.
I mean, our friends are mostly creatives and mostly like, but they work in graphic agencies, or they work in, they're songwriters or singers or producers that like produce for other people, or we have a lot of these kind of friends as well. Like international DJs are around us a lot, like because where we live. And there, I mean, in Germany, I mean, there's like a handful in the dance genre that we do is maybe Tujamo, Dennis Koyo, a couple of guys, right? They live all across the country. It's not like when we talk to them, it's very special actually. It's not like everyone's doing it like in Holland.
Yeah. Okay. And is it like, do you guys have something? Are you working on something special to do during this period because you can't tour or something, or do you feel like now we're just gonna be in the studio and that's about it?
I mean, we picked up our radio show again, which we left like unattended for quite a while. So because we were prioritizing other stuff, and we are filming it. And actually, from a music video we did ourselves back in the day. We still have a green screen. It's over here.
Oh.
So yeah, we are doing the Rush Hour radio show every week now. Feel free to send demos to drop your tunes here at gmail.com.
We can show some. This entire wall is a green. There's a green wall.
Exactly.
So
so that's something we're doing. Then I took my turntables and put them in my old apartment in the kitchen, so I can record some scratching videos over there, which I really like doing. We finally bought, or Greg bought, CDJs because we never had them actually. So yeah, it's
we were playing out so much we never needed to practice on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we had them every day somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all stuff that's happening. So it's going with the flow, kind of. It's crazy how it changes everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are doing the radio show every week, and we are working on music, on lots of music. We have a lot of club records also coming out soon, and plus we are still figuring out our own pop music style to make it kind of special, you know, because pop music is something we like to do because there's more music involved, like more harmonies and stuff like that. So that's something we really like, and we are still trying to find our approach, like something that makes it stand out from the rest. And that's
the difficult part.
That's our creative goal, is like to have listening friendly Jewelz and Sparks music, not only festival live sound, right? So that's like a little bit it's much more of a challenge actually when you already achieved so many things in the live dance music sector. It's much more of a challenge to have really big songs that people want to listen to over and over again. You know, in terms of now, streaming is very big, or it's gotten very big over the course of a couple of years. But it's also a source of income. I mean, the music industry is so much bigger than just the DJ business. It's singers, songwriters are out there. We're having sessions with them, also over the internet, sending top lines, sending vocals. We work with a lot of people and just try to do a music producer's job on a daily basis, right?
How many hours a week do you spend right now in the studio?
At least between 4 and 6 days. It depends what else we have to do on our agenda. Sometimes we have to do like a live set somewhere, you know, that we record. We bought a little drone so we can also record some DJ sets here and there.
Power generator.
Or we prepare our radio show, or we power generator. We have a lot of stuff we have to ship back and forth with the car or something. Like we have busy days, you know, and music production, at least, I guess, still at least 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like a creative time for you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
We actually enjoy it for the most part. Yeah. We actually enjoy it because we had a lot of, you know, with the travels, jet lags. We have had a lot of also negative aspects that now disappeared, like health issues. You know, you get very exhausted. You have sleep deprived, constant jet lag. You know, see your family.
Such a bad skin. It's gone. My skin.
From flying, probably.
Yeah, really. I had like these red marks all the time. It was like people thought I was tanned. You know, oh, you were in the sun. No, I wasn't in the sun. It's kind of a thing that actually started 7 years ago when we started flying a lot.
Really?
And now it's gone. Yeah.
Holy
so
shit.
stuff like that. I mean, that's just a little detail, you know, but there's also positive aspects to it.
It is.
And,
are you planning to change something? Let's say everything gets started back up again within 2 months, which I honestly don't think is going to happen. But let's say it is. Are there some aspects of your career that you are going to change?
I think we were gonna develop into more serious music production and serious studio time again. Like anyway, that like play less shows anyway. I mean that was the approach or the idea for a long time to elevate your sound. I mean, we're doing this for quite a while to take your skill set and your sound in a popular music way, on some sort of a next level, and to spend a lot of time in the lab, in the studio on that and play less shows on the other side, and work more with bigger labels, even major companies and stuff like that as partners, because that was something that was on our mind for the last 2 to 3 years.
Never worked out. So it might as well be that our booker gives us a call. So, hey guys, you want to play next month here, Asia, there, somewhere? And we're gonna like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's hard to predict, but it's good to think about those things, especially if there are some, well, for example, those health issues. You know, it's something to take in consideration. Once you get back up again, like, are you willing to take back the life you had? Like, what were the things you liked, and what were the things you didn't like, and how can you work around that?
So we didn't like the constant sleep deprived. I think for me it's very hard, because if I have a good sleeping rhythm, my health is definitely going up. It's elevated. You know, it's like it's hard to also keep up the creativity when you're constantly moving.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's very hard.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear that you guys are doing well during these times, and I think it's inspiring for a lot of starting artists to hear about your story, how things can go, like working from 2 solo artists to a duo, and actually combining forces to become even bigger. So that's nice. I think a lot of people might learn something from that. And I wish you guys the best in the upcoming months. I hope everything will start to get back to normal in some kind of way, but I think it's going to take a bit longer than we all expect.
We think so too, I think, yeah. And also we want to obviously thank you for the invite, and call out everybody to get in touch with us on all our socials. We always have an open ear for people that are aspiring. We listen to a lot of demos. Maybe we can give our demo email called drop your tunes here at gmail.com. So you find it on our Facebook. You can always send us music. We have the radio show, so now we can again support people massively and put their records out and play them. So we listen to a lot of music at the moment. It's a good opportunity to hit us up on Instagram or somewhere.
Makes sense, yeah.
We have an open ear for everyone, because we have a lot of time that we just sit down and care about music.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It brings a lot of opportunities for starting artists as well.
For sure.
Thanks, guys. Thanks again for taking the time to do this, and
cool.
Have a great day in the studio.
You take care too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.